Welcome to another episode of Victoria Shoots the Breeze. It's very early. It's 10 a.m. And I have my coffee and Jeffrey Weinstein with me, who is a fellow comedian. Where did we meet, Jeffrey? I forgot.
Well, you contacted me online after I did a show at World's Smallest Open Mic at Hurley's, and you had sent me a message.
Yeah, I remember because my boyfriend liked you so much, and he was too shy to talk to you. And I was like, "No, you
Yeah,
should definitely talk to him. I think he would like to
yeah,
hear about you."
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Very, very quiet, low key guy.
Yeah, he really is. Like he
Yeah,
comes to all the shows and he knows all the drama and he knows all the people and the moving parts, but he never talks to anyone.
yeah, yeah,
Which like I tell him like, go talk go talk to people because like it's gonna be a long show. Like he's heard my jokes before. He's heard everyone's jokes before.
yeah.
But
He's like one of these IT geeks that are kind of like
yeah.
introverted and they're not a little insecure, but socially insecure. Yeah,
Yes. Maybe yeah, probably.
yeah.
Probably. So what's been going on, Jeffrey? How's life?
So, well, I can't really complain. Of course, in life we always have our ups and downs. Mostly my ups and downs have been going down to bed and getting up in the morning. I mean, nothing too exciting. But anyways, I on Monday night I went to a show, one of Sid's shows. You know Sid Krular, the producer.
Yes.
So I went to one of the shows that's hosted by Amarez. So he's great. I mean, this guy,
Amr?
Amarez. Yeah,
Amir. He's
he's a great host.
amazing. Amazing host. He's really
He's a
good.
great. I mean, he's Hollywood. He's like
Yeah.
100% Hollywood out there, and So I wanted to get the opportunity to speak with Sid because I sent him all these messages to get on. I'm going to be able to get on. He wouldn't book me for all these shows and it's been over a year off and on messaging him. So, well, like I told you in one of the messages on Facebook that he said when he saw one of my acts, he said my act was weak. And I did do an open mic last summer at the Petite Grenouille, the Froggy Bar. I call it the Froggy Bar, Petite Grenouille on Saint Laurent, the Froggy Bar. So,
when did you do an act at the Froggy Bar?
That was in late June or July of last year.
Okay.
And was good. I had some good material, had some laughs. And after Amara said, "Good job." So there's no problem with my act, but
Yeah.
I don't think Sid stuck around. I did not see Sid in the room. He didn't see my act. So I'm at a loss to figure out when he saw my act for him to say that.
Yeah.
When he saw me, was it at the smallest open mic, which also another booker, producer, Sirac Melessian, who was doing open mic at the Cafe Ninja there. When I contact him, message him to try to get in, but it's not his show. Like I misunderstood because his show is not like a general open mic. It's like a booked show, comedy show type thing. He saw my act at the world's smallest open mic, which I don't remember seeing him there at any time. I don't remember him seeing him there and him watching me at any time. So I mean, it goes to show that you don't know. You never know, even as a performer. And if you see everybody, you think you see everybody in the audience, but there are times you don't. You never know who's going to watch you, who's going to catch your act.
Yeah.
like you messaged me as total surprise. I remember seeing you and your boyfriend there. Total surprise. I didn't think you were there. And other ones who catch your eye. There's another one also who I just messaged par hasard, like by chance on the internet through Facebook, and she also saw my act. We chatted. It was nice, and she also was someone who wants to get into stand-up comedy. So, just like you. So, it's sort of like a pattern. So Sid told me. So I said, Sid, I've been messaging you. I want to, get a spot. He said, well, sorry, act was weak. I said, not ready. So I said, but I'm going to have another open mic. And like he said, like a beginner level open mic. I think it's going to be in McLean's Pub. And, I'll put you on. I'll give you a spot in a couple of weeks, whatever that means. So he said 2 weeks, could be 3 weeks, could be 4 weeks. I don't know. 5 weeks. I don't know. So anyways, so my joke about that is that I was, I have to go back to comedy kindergarten. So the kind of feelings like, okay, now after over a year, almost a year and a half, I have to go back to square one. I have to go back to comedy kindergarten.
Yeah.
And honestly, I came very late to the party because last year it was just before I turned 60 years old. I'm going to stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
A lot of people would say, well, he must need to have his head examined. What's he doing? But what I did was not many people can do that, stand up in front of an audience and talk and tell jokes, let alone talk. And a lot of funny people who said, no, stand up. No, not for me. Kind of reaction,
Yeah.
And so that's it. So I came to the party very late, I'm 61, but I'm very mature for my age, which thankfully my partner reminds me of that periodically from time to time, that I'm immature, I'm childish, juvenile, because I have my moods. I get cranky.
Yeah.
And this week, this was a difficult week because I wasn't getting enough sleep. I was going to sleep. I wasn't sleeping well. I was waking up, and a long time, taking me an hour and a half to fall back to sleep again. Yeah. And I was losing out on a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Getting up to the bathroom 6 times a night. And so I had to modify my eating schedule and make certain adjustments to try to improve that. But I was cranky. Cranky and irritable, and taking stuff out on her. Yeah. And she pushed back on me very aggressively, and I mean, she's the only.
It's only been a year.
I had to be. She knows.
Still reinvent yourself.
She knows how to put me back in my place.
Yeah.
She's the only one that will do that.
That's so good.
So my joke is, I came up with a joke last year saying, like, behind every great man is a woman telling him how much of an asshole he is.
Yeah, I imagine that's true.
Yeah. So, and everything, so in relationships, you can't take everything that happens so seriously. So I have ability to take everything, twist it around, make light of it, and turn it into a joke. Look at the humoristic side of it. And that's how I use part of the way I use my creativity in writing up material. So
yeah. There was I was watching a Mitch Hedberg documentary where he said that he fought with his wife, and that tension was enabling him to write jokes.
Oh yeah.
Basically, there was definitely tension in his marriage, and that's what he was using to write punchlines.
Definitely, like last year especially, in different comedy venues, I wrote material and I used material based on fights and conflicts I had with my partner.
Yeah.
Not all of it went over very well because some of it, but then, the problem with that is it's like sort of like inside jokes. It's like inside,
Yeah, you have to
you
bring
know,
in the public on in your relationship. You have to explain to them like
it won't
the
be like,
premise,
it
like
won't be
what's
like under, because they weren't there. The problem, if you're going to do that, the problem is that you were there, but they weren't there. So it's
yeah,
not going to be as funny to them as it is to you.
yeah,
That's the only caveat there. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. So it's definitely a challenge. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
I tried it once to write a joke about my relationship with my boyfriend, and it fell really flat. So
yeah, yeah,
I thought it was funny.
yeah, yeah. Well, the joke that I did that did work regarding the kind of relationship I had with my partner, based on truth, but a lot of comedy is exaggeration of the truth, and based on irony and sarcasm. Um, that I did this on an online show, and it
Yeah,
it went over. It went over pretty well. That my wife and I have a strange relationship. We now, like I say, we try to stay off politics because she's a progressive American capitalist
hmm,
and I'm a non-authoritarian socialist. So she's always finding money from somewhere, and I can't balance my budget. you know.
yeah, that's true.
So I mean, and she's struggling with finances, money, things. She's really had to work with me, honestly. It's been every month is like a struggle. It's beginning to get better now since like
Hmm.
this beginning this month, September. It's beginning to get better, but there was a lot of months where, I mean, there was a lot of resistance, a lot of struggle and tension and drama over, you know, budgeting, finance, how much money you have here, how much money you have there, how much money do you have, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
No, for
making
sure.
things
Like
work. Like
finances are always a sore point in relationships
so, and I was
because
like,
there's always a
she's
fun one and there's always a boring one. So
yeah,
you're the fun one.
yeah. I mean, too much fun, you know. But she's very like astute and apt in saving money and managing finances and
Yeah.
like like a genie. She's like money genie on such limited, even on such limited income, you
Hmm.
know, to get by and juggle everything, manage everything, and have savings and money to invest in. And it's just
That's amazing. I've never seen
mhm.
her in one of the shows. Does she come? Does she come out sometimes?
No,
She never comes
no,
out.
she's no, it's not the comedy scene's not for her. Club scenes, bars is not for her. And sometimes she asks me, "Do you mind if I don't go?
Yeah.
Because you're all right with it, because
She doesn't
it's
like the
not
bars or the
the
stand-up
bars, the
comedy.
club scene, the comedy scene, stand up comedy scene. It's not for her. The last time, years ago, when we went to an open mic stand up comedy show, she was picked on by the one of the comedians, and she was insulted. The guy was making jokes and sensitive points like
Yeah.
age. Once he's went age, and that like set her off, and like it ruined the
Was he
whole
was
rest
he
of our
on
evening.
was he on stage when he was making fun of her or off
Yeah,
stage?
yeah, no, in his act on stage.
In his act on stage, okay. And
Yeah,
she
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
like that,
So
yeah.
so she
Well,
it rubbed her the wrong way, and it struck like a soft spot, and like really set the tone for the rest of the evening. And it really ruined the rest of my evening because I it was like hell dealing with her after that, and the kind of
yeah,
mood she was in.
yeah,
So it's, I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing. You're on a slippery slope. You're just on skating on ice, but it's really a slippery slope sometimes. To be in the audience or to be comedian
To
on
be the
stage.
comedian, yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. And it was like probably an open mic, right? So maybe the person
Yeah.
didn't
Especially like
know.
we were sitting right up the front, like it's so, you
Oh, well,
know,
you're sitting
it's
at the
just
front.
sitting right at the front, so it's easy for someone to,
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
crowd work, to like pick on something about you. And I've had past, I've had done comedy shows where, made like remarks about what I was wearing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. I don't know. I personally, I don't like it so much when comedians pick on non-comedians. I don't know. I like the roasting and stuff between comedians. I'm like, I get it because like I'm in I'm in this business. I'm trying to be in this business, and I think it's part of it,
Mm.
and that's completely fine, and it's fun and it's creative. But I mean, like there's some shows I'm not bringing my friends into because I know that they're not going to think it's endearing. They're not going to think it's funny. It's going to be like a sore point for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh
went to a
yeah. Yeah.
show and
Yeah.
then these guys made fun of like my country or they made fun of my sexuality or like, so I try to
Mm.
be careful with like who I bring where and I try to
Mm.
gauge.
But you know who's very good at it is Amar Rez, because he's roasted me.
Yeah.
He's picked on me in different shows up in Mike, like at
Yeah.
McLean's Pub,
Oh,
and
really?
once, and even at the Froggy Bar,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, he's
he
really
I was,
I
yeah,
don't know
but
how
I,
long
but
he's
I,
been doing this, but he's very
yeah,
well dosed, I feel like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like he made a joke about his weight. I was laughing, and then he picked on me and says, "Well, are you anyone to laugh?" type of thing, pointing back at me. So, oops, it backfired on me.
So
So,
Peter wants you to talk about roasting. Last time you came to our open mic, you roasted Claudio. Where'd that
yeah,
come from? How long did it take you to write it? I want to know everything.
I just made it up in my head.
But
I
why
don't
did
always
you
write things down. I just make it in my head, and I just, keep it, under lock and key, and store it in my brain. And so I wanted to do my Godfather impression again. So it was an opportunity to do a Godfather impression since Claudio, and
Yeah.
he he didn't at a show I hosted. I did it, and he didn't like it very much.
No,
wasn't
he
he
did
wasn't a
not like it
fan.
very.
He wasn't a fan of it the first time. This time, okay, no comments. So I don't know. He was very
He
quiet
was
about
not a fan either the second time, but that's
it.
okay.
So
I think
so it was a
it's part of the roast,
so but it happened to be. It just like sort of like creative genius just came through, like like that out of nowhere, the thin blue air, about his grandmother and that, and it was funnier. It came off as funnier than I thought it would be. I never was expecting to get that kind of reaction from that bit.
Yeah, for some reason, other comedians have come to our show to roast Claudio, which, I mean, it's the arts. I'm not going to comment on that, but other comedians have done that, and like it always gets a reaction from the comedians. I feel like those are
Yeah,
the bits that make the comedians laugh because like we all work
yeah,
together, so like impressions of each other are funny, I think.
yeah. Samson is very good at, Samson Cooperman
Yeah.
is
Oh, he does an impression of Asher. It's so funny. And
he's
his
great
act.
with voices. His voices when he does impressions of people,
Yeah.
it's so dead on. It's so spot on, uncanny how he like really gets the voice like perfect, flawless, and the way he roasts people. It's so funny, you know.
Yeah.
He
Did
did
you ever?
impressions of me. I mean, at McLean's Pub, he did impressions of me, and making fun of me, just like,
And you
I
liked it.
mean,
You were
like
like, yes, that's dead on. That's hilarious.
I mean,
You like,
but imitation is a serious form of flattery. So, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
he's, he was
Do
one
you
of the first people to be into my act, and really, get off on it with, so.
That's good. Would you ever consider doing like a roast battle?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
For those who don't
Yeah.
know, Jeffrey's wearing an Aquaman shirt. Maybe you're like, what is going on
Yeah.
there? That's an Aquaman shirt. Why are you wearing an Aquaman shirt?
Well, because I saw the movie, and it was one of the best movies I ever saw. And actually, I saw it in Mexico. Best movies I actually saw. I mean, this is just a monster of the fact that I don't like to act my age. I don't act my age. I don't like my age, and I'm very immature for someone over 60. And even says, I can't do 61. I can't. I refuse. I can't do 61. It's just I quit the program. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. I quit the program. I refuse.
That's fine. I was wondering, why did you start the Yellow Glasses production?
Yellow Glasses I got last year. I got them, and just because they're different, and it's like the energy, because it's so different and original, and the energy gives off and yellow in Chinese tradition has significance. Well, you see like a lot of Chinese restaurants like yellow signs, and has significance spiritually in Eastern traditions, like in China, of higher intelligence. And I think it probably start with the Confucius, something to do with Confucius or Confucius Institute, about higher learning and wisdom, which in the ancient Chinese tradition. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you do a podcast.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the podcast.
There's a piece of my mind.
A piece.
And I started my second season. It'll be episode 2. I'll be recording episode 2 with my guest Samson Cooperman tomorrow night.
Oh, really? Samson's on your podcast?
Yeah, tomorrow night.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll be recording that one. So that's going to come out.
And, what are you guys going to talk about?
Just, I guess, I don't know. We didn't really decide on any fixed topics or ideas, just to shoot the shit. It's gonna be funny because we have good banter between us. Like we have like amazing comic chemistry between us, and we have like the banter is like it's like we're on each other's wavelengths.
That's so good. I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah, it's gonna be really really funny. Yeah. Even like wildly hilarious, Yeah. And I'm also into art. One of my hobbies is art. I took up. I started getting into this year. So these are my doodles.
Oh my God! Can I see the dog from closer? The dog. Oh, what? Okay, you have to explain.
The dog. I like dogs, so I just drew the dog out of.
What about the faces? Who are?
And then I was trying to do my self portrait. This is my first attempt of my own self portrait.
Who's that? Is that your wife?
Alien. That's an alien, and there's and the one beside there, that's an alien.
Oh.
And there's another alien, Star Trek alien. He's got the Star Trek shirt on with a little A.
Oh yeah. You know what? Like this feels like so like you, because it's you're trying something and it's like very bold. You're like, I don't care if I'm like what I'm doing it, and this is my self-portrait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just I like that. Are you gonna make me a drawing one day?
Sure, if you want. Sure, yeah.
That would be great. That would be great.
Yeah, maybe I'll make a caricature of you. I don't know.
Yeah, me and my boyfriend.
You're-
And we would hang it in our new home.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. One time when I see the both of you together,
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't think you've ever talked to Camille yet, right?
Khalil hardly. I mean, because he's very quiet. It's not saying much. So
Yeah. And yet he's so rambunctious.
yeah.
Huh.
So I mean, well, maybe you've heard the expression "still waters run deep." So
What is that expression?
still waters run deep. So I may be quiet on the inside, but I'm quiet on the outside. But on the inside, he's not so quiet. There's a wild side to him.
Oh yeah. No, there's definitely a wild side to him. And I'm privileged enough to know that wild side, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Are you
You
wearing a
were
masks? Are you wearing masks during sex, like Dr. Tam said? You have to
no,
wear masks.
I don't do that. I feel
or
like if I get COVID, he gets COVID. If he gets
or
COVID, I get
the,
COVID, and that's the deal.
it's so ridiculous. This has gone to,
And
it's
if we
gone
get
from,
sick, we get sick together. Like we're like this now. Like our
it's
lives
so
are like
ridiculous
this.
because, like, I've been thinking in my head, like, and even the suggestion of a glory hole. I'm thinking, like, if someone's in your bubble, you've known someone for a long time, and you live, even especially like if you live with someone, you should know whether or not the person, just know without having the person tested, this person is like negative, right?
Hmm.
Not that there's no risk of getting anything, symptomatic, asymptomatic. Even the person's
Yeah, but you
asymptomatic, but
don't
there's no,
know. You don't know.
but the person is, you just say, okay, well, the person hasn't been around
Hmm.
anything or anywhere where there was like a good chance they would get the virus, but acting like the virus is everywhere, it flies everywhere. Go outside, old boogeyman's gonna get it. It flies everywhere. So you see a lot of people
Yeah.
outside walking wearing
Yeah.
masks outside,
Yeah.
where at
Oh
least
yeah,
these
outside.
chances of getting it.
I wear my mask outside because I'm an anxious person and I really like it that people can't see the bottom half of my face. It calms me down. So I just
Oh, then
sometimes
it's great.
I just wear
Yeah,
my mask outside. I know people are judging me, but I don't care.
yeah,
It feels so freeing, you know?
yeah. The thing is, well, wearing a mask, like in public, so if I sneeze, I'm wearing a mask, people aren't going to freak out. But if I'm not wearing a mask, like people are going to gasp and start
Yeah.
freaking out. Cover your mouth, cover your mouth. Yeah.
There's supposed to be a second wave happening in Quebec City especially, but like soon we're going to be surfing on that second wave.
Second wave of insanity.
Yeah. So you don't believe in COVID? What's going on?
I don't believe in any. I think it's ramped up. It's exaggerated. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced there's going to be a second wave like they say it's going to be,
Yeah.
or that it's going to be.
Yeah.
I'm not
Actually, I
convinced.
am not convinced either because I feel like we're getting in the cold months, and if the second wave like takes too long to arrive, everyone's just going to be indoors. So it's not going to propagate like it would in the summer, you know.
I
But
mean, the
we'll
flu
see.
happens every year. People get the
That's
flu.
true. That's true. They get the flu, but now people are staying like I go to university. I'm not going to my classes. I'm going to be doing it online at home. Like people are going to go to bars less. I don't know. I feel like maybe there's a chance that there's not going to be a second wave just because we're lazy to go out in a storm to go out in the slush.
Well, December is a time when it's December, like around mid-December, just before Christmas time, the Christmas holidays is where you have the highest frequency of people getting sick with flu and colds and that.
Yeah.
So we have to watch out for that. You have to be adequately extra careful and adequately prepared to and do certain things, measures to prevent you from getting any a cold virus, any kind of virus at all.
Yeah.
You know. just take extra care of yourselves. And that's the time, because Christmas time is the time always in past years where people go out a lot and socialize a lot. So the highest risk during the parties, Christmas parties, New Year's Eve parties. A friend of mine got very sick from somebody at a New Year's Eve party, and he was sick for very, very sick for 6 weeks.
Whoa.
And this guy, he's not young. This guy is over 65.
Yeah.
So, and not in the best of health. So,
I mean, be careful with COVID, yeah, I don't know what to be careful. I worked at those testing centers, man, and the people that came in with COVID, they did not look good. Young or old, they had trouble like walking. We had to bring them a chair because they couldn't breathe. Like, it's horrible. It's so weird to think that we're living in I remember when I was a kid hearing like, oh, we're overpopulated. One day there's going to be a big pandemic. We're taking too many antibiotics. One day there's going to be a big pandemic. And I always thought like, it's not going to happen to me, Because like every time there's a big virus, they say this is it. And then it never happens. But now like we're in it. It's so weird.
Yeah. Well, if you take too many antibiotics, you're harming your immune system.
Exactly.
Because it's too, you're breaking down your liver and kidneys, and you're compromising your immune system. And with pharmaceuticals, what I learned because I had a cousin who was a pharmacist, and when I was in my 20s, late 20s, like mid or late 20s, I had sinus problems. I was taking a lot of sinus medications. As like, if you take this enough times, and your body is going to develop immunity to the medication, so it becomes not effective anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you're just training those viruses to be super viruses.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see we're going over a time right now. Is there any shows that you would like to plug in, that you would like people to go to, or any like social media that you want people to follow you on?
Yeah, it was a piece of my mind. Also, my YouTube channel, across my YouTube channel, always I some good content. Yellow Comedy Productions. That's the name of my YouTube channel. And if you could tune in, subscribe to get all my latest content of shows and recordings and whatnot. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'll see you at the next show.